Alright, I'm going to see how well you can hear me on this. We're going to do a little bit of exploring with Google Earth. Uh, I currently am not using Onyx or Go Hunt or any other hunting app or mapping system like that. We're just going to go and Google Earth a few places. First, let's go to Tiffany Bottoms. Should come up here. Yep, here we go. I'm testing this mic out at the same time. I'm trying to see how well it performs. Okay, let's stop spinning. Okay, this imagery date down here in the left hand corner will go down to the left hand corner of the screen. It says it's loaded 100%. The imagery date is 4/1/21, so that's April 1st, 2021. Let's see, and this is along here on the bottom. It also has a scale bar. This is supposed to be 60 meters. I guess the camera height, the altitude of the camera above sea level, is 724 meters. This information is down in the right hand corner of the screen. You can go to Google Earth and use it on a computer or even a phone. This is for free. I mean, you can map it out, get a general idea. It also gives you the coordinates. And 210 meters. Let's see what it says. The elevation above sea level of the point of the ground directly underneath your cursor. Okay, so it does change where I move the cursor. Okay, this is centered. Let's see just where this is exactly. Let's see, Tiffany Bottoms. Okay, this is, let's see, let's rotate it. Let's see. Let me click this off here for a moment. Okay, maybe this is, okay, this is what we want to do. So you click on this little compass over here, and it'll allow you to direct it. So north would be where the red triangle is pointed. Yes. Because right would be east, left would be west, top would be north, bottom would be south. This is the Chippewa River. Zoom out just a little bit. The wheel on the mouse. So, zoom out just a little bit more. Okay. So, this is Tiffany, right here in the center. It says Tiffany Bottoms State Natural Area. And along here you have the Chippewa River. And down here you have the road. On some of my earlier videos, I was parked down here, right here, where you see this white vehicle. But I was parked right here, sitting right here, and you could see the traffic driving by here. As you can see where this white vehicle is, let's see if we can think we are. How do we do this 3D? Tilt the view. Well, I don't know if it's gonna let me. Let's see. Let's see if we can't. If we can't get it to. It's much easier on the app to get it to. Oh, this is an experimental version, according to up here in the left. Anyways, until I figure it out. Right here where this white vehicle is to the right of that, that's the boat landing. Okay, now the boat landing here This is on the south side of the road. Over here, you'll see the tracks. On my first video, it says going me arriving at Tiffany Bottoms Wildlife Area, and me going north. These tracks, they go for a good 13 miles up through there. You know, it's a long ways up through here. Anyways, so let's zoom back down where we were. Zoom back down to where we were. So here's the entrance to the tracks, and then the first train bridge that we come to. And in my first video, I make it to this point, and you know, it's a very beautiful area. This water was kind of low when I first arrived, but there was some rain, and it came from north of here, and the river did rise some. So there's a fluctuation in the water levels throughout the year. So the water level was very low when I got there. So what we see on the map currently might not reflect exactly how the water level was at the time I was there. Anyways, so we're zooming back in. Over here is where, you know, I parked, and you know, I do my practice shots and stuff with my bow and target. But as you can see, this south side of the road, this is Nelson Trevino. It's another wildlife area, you know. Nelson Trevino Bottom State area. So you have this area and all this up here. But you can see all these waterways. There's no roads. Maybe these old tracks here. But there's wait a minute. I think we're getting off course here a little bit. Yep, I think we're getting off course here. Oh, wrong road. Anyways, so you have these tracks. There's a little road over here. Maybe it goes to that road. I don't know. I didn't explore it. It's a large area. Anyways, so there's a lot of waterways, as you can see. Some form of watercraft or john boat or kayak with a little motor or something would allow you to more conveniently get in up through Tiffany Bottoms or you know, south of there. Can't say I've been there from experience, so I don't know any kind of issues you would run into. But over here is the Chippewa River. Like I said, it does seem to have quite a strong current, so a kayak with a trolling motor might not be sufficient. You could float down, but I don't know that you could go back upriver. So, and here's Battle Island, an area where the guys I met from Minnesota, they did a deer drive on this island. It's relatively large, I mean, for what it is. But some of the videos that I showed you of the fields were actually let's see, around in this area here. Yeah, around in this area here. So, you know, that's what that looks like. On my last video out, I showed you this area. This, when I was talking about maybe you could put a tree stand or something over here, but there is water here, like I was mentioning. Couldn't really see it, but it's right here. It runs along here. These are the tracks. And this is also the area where I was talking about. It opens up a little bit and stuff, because it gets quite dense in areas like this. Anyways, so this is Tiffany Bottoms area. Over here is Minnesota. This is Wisconsin. This is Chippewa River. There's pretty good a lot of areas. I mean, you can hunt over here. There's a place called 5 Mile Bluff Prairie State Natural Area. So, and then 5 Mile Bluff. I guess maybe that's part of the same. I don't know. Doesn't look like there's as many access points and areas over here, but you know, this kind of is a free version of just e-scouting. But as you can see, more in the middle of their interior area, this is what I'd be referring to as the interior area, is, well, as you can see, there's a lot of water areas. So, there's plenty of ground to cover by foot, but it would be very convenient to have some form of watercraft to get in through this area. And it would be somewhat challenging unless you have current and live updates of satellite imagery to let you know what the water levels are like. So that would just kind of require some judgment on your part. There's another parking location. One of the places, or at least there was when I was there. I think it's right here. Yeah, I actually left 2 arrows over here by mistake. Anyways, so this is another landing. You might be able to put in on this side too, but I'm pretty sure you can put on here, so you can take a boat this way and up and around, and I'm not sure how far it goes. I mean, which way to go. So you would probably need to take your time, or really need to familiarize yourself with some of this, because again, this water may not currently reflect what the current situation is there. So, but as you can see, it's a fairly large area. A lot of it's difficult to access. This is the north side. It seems like this right here might be a more convenient approach coming in from the north and going to the Chippewa River here. Kind of interesting how this is referred to as the Chippewa River and this as well, but I guess it's considered part of it. But it comes way over here. There is another parking area here, but as you can see, I mean, there's some tracks here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't know if those are active tracks or just old tracks as well. They may be. But it looks like you may run into some particular issues with private property and people. Something appears to be going on here. But anyways, you definitely need to look into that first. But again, here's another body of water here, and see. So you can see how water holes and checking water is not necessarily the most reliable source to find a lot of good deer sign. But it's such a large, dense area, and there's a lot of ways to get in and out of there. If you found you a good place somewhere in the midst of here, and you were able to get there some form of watercraft, it would be a good approach, because it could allow you to reach further inside wherever you'd want to go. But it's the Nelson Trevino area. It's similar. It's got a lot of waterways too. But there are deer in here. Okay, and they're nice bucks, nice deer, and it's a beautiful place. Some places get a little too dense. I mean, It's just, not ideal to hunt. I mean, if you can see, it doesn't really do it a whole lot of justice. But we'll see how clear. It's about as clear as it gets. But all this is trees. So, this is, and over here again, this is Minnesota. So, I mean, if you're hunting in both areas, you get your non-resident tag for Minnesota if you live in Wisconsin or vice versa. Now, this is a good area to hunt. It's public hunting land. It is Buffalo County. But some people claim that Tiffany Bottoms is not what it used to be. They don't elaborate. Whether they feel like there's too many people that hunt there now, or there's not enough deer there, or something. The chances are that the majority of people simply don't go through the amount of trouble and work that would require to get closer towards the interior. There wasn't a whole lot of people there down along this stretch of road while I was there. So, and a lot of the people went over here. Only a select few went north of this road. Others all went south. Like the one guy he got into a boat down here at this landing. I don't know where off he went to, and he was the one that seen a nice 8-point, but he decided not to release his arrow. The other guy, he walked in, him and another guy. They were from Milwaukee, and he shot at an 8-point and missed it. The other guy, I don't think he's seen anything. So they were probably quite spaced apart. So definitely ain't the same. And I was several miles up this way. So, but going in here, I jumped some deer in this area. Does. I didn't see no bucks. And then when I'd come back walking, I'd hear some deer over here. But with binoculars, I scouted this area. I did do some still hunting one evening here, where I met the guy from Georgia, who had apparently been doing some scouting. But I mean, this is just one of the more convenient ways to enter into Tiffany Bottoms area by foot. But as you can see, to get into areas that you might be interested in, some form of watercraft, john boat with a motor, or longtail or mud motor maybe, or a kayak with a motor. Now, in through here, a kayak with a motor maybe okay, but for traveling on the Chippewa, that would probably require a small john boat with a 5 horsepower motor, or something like that, 5 horsepower motor, depending on the size of the boat. If it's a large john boat over 12 feet, maybe a little bit more horsepower. But yeah, so smaller kayak with a 2.5 horsepower motor, might with a gas motor, not but you have to make sure you're getting the right kayak. Some kayaks are not that stable. A gas motor wouldn't be a wise thing to do. You need really a more expensive kayak that has a flatter bottom, that's less prone to tipping over. There's a brand called New Canoe. They got some models called Frontier. Those would be what I would kind of direct you into getting. There may be others, but as far as like a canoe, based on what I've come across, that would probably be a better approach. So, but those kayaks are about the same as a 10-foot or maybe even a 12-foot aluminum flat bottom john boat by a reputable manufacturer. You can buy used ones. I mean, there's plenty on Marketplace and places if you want. And then a good Honda, for example, 5 horsepower motor. It's about well over 1,000 for a brand new one. You know, you can try Mercury or a variety of other brands, but anyways, so that would be, you know, something here. It might have some limitations in some of this other area. You know, the water, some of this water may be non-existent at the current moment, so there may not be quite as much water. So was why I say a kayak might be more practical once you get in through some of these areas. But you can paddle it, but you know it'd probably be better to have like a trolling motor. Of course, you gotta have a battery, and you know I don't know how far you can get in there on a battery and get back out. So quite a few things to take into consideration. You may go so far on a kayak or whatever, set you up a camp. You have to get a camping permit, but that's what you'd want to do. And then, you know, yeah, so you get in there, find you a good spot, camp, and trek from wherever you decide to make you a little base camp or something. But some people, when they do camp, they usually just take a boat and somewhere along here. Not a lot of people, but you know, not like what you think compared to the size of the place. But a lot of people, they just that do that, they camp on the edges, and then just go in however far. But yeah, so I traveled all up near this area. Like I said before, once you get in through this area, it starts, like the tracks start getting more, you know, it may clear up or it may get worse, but it started getting worse. And, you know, I just didn't really have a lot of time to go further and further like I would have preferred. But there's a lot of areas I want to check and see. But it's a big area. You need quite a bit of time to really scout it out like you'd want. But yeah, it's a nice area. I like it. It obviously much more beautiful in person, but kind of don't do a whole lot of justice. This just gives you satellite imagery of what it looks like. There's not a lot of videos on it, but it's, you know, there's plenty of deer in there, I believe. I mean, you know, you just have to find, you know, where their food sources is, where they're staying, what they're really looking for. I mean, you know, where they are, you know, where their food sources are. Because like I said, they don't eat the same thing all year long, so they have to move around a little bit. But when you tend to find a lot of deer sign, there's a lot of what they need in the area. They may, if they're acorns over here, and then there's like red acorns here and white acorns here or something. They all get all kinds of grass and stuff, but you know, they eat like white acorns earlier in the season, and then the red acorns later, so they kind of move around. They're not going to want to travel too far from their bedding areas to food sources, no more than they have to. So that's something to keep in mind. So this is a general overview of Tiffany Bottoms. It goes pretty far up through there. It's pretty good size area. The Rand, it's up this way. This is where I went to, like I mentioned, for to do laundry and stuff. It's about a 20-minute drive. But yeah, so it's a very nice area. It's And then south of there is Wabasha. That's the Mississippi River. There's Minnesota, you know. But so yeah, Minnesota. Pretty sure. Let me change this up a little bit. Okay, there we go. This is north. So you can see Mississippi River, Minnesota. So I don't know where it breaks off, changes. Somewhere around here, it divides between Minnesota and here's Pepin. So Pepin, let me see something here. Lakeport. So yeah, I'm considering moving out in this area somewhere. I know I don't have family there. I don't know, but you know, I make friends. I get acquainted with people. I've been all over the country, so that's not an issue. But so this is Nelson Trevino. I'm gonna show my viewers where I come from. Back in West Virginia and what it's like there. A little bit from satellite imagery. Okay. Logan. Okay, let's see. Let's let it load in here. This was from October 14th. October 14th, 2019. So, you zoom out there. Yes, there's a lot of mountains. Barrawalla, Hatfield, McCoy Trail. That's where I rode a lot. This is where my grandmother lived. This is the town I grew up in, went to high school in. And as you can see, there's a lot of these old mine reclaims. There's a little airport on top of the mountain. There's a video or two on YouTube showing it. But I lived over in here and stuff, and I could just ride up the road a little ways, get on the ATV trail, and just travel all over this area. I've been all through this area. But this is the Hatfield McCoy Trailhead. Let me click on it, see what it does. Yeah. But and then also grew up here, West Virginia. So I actually get on my ATV or side by side and ride from all the way over here, make it all the way to here, up in this area. So, yeah. So I could travel a lot of distance over the hills, but as you can see, lots of mountains. Lots of mountains. People ask me, is there any mountains in West Virginia? Well, they do call it the Mountain State. You know, not a lot of people there nowadays, though. But actually, we zoom in a little farther, a little closer. It's actually where my grandmother used to live, and I lived there for about 12 years before I moved out. So this is our little parcel of land, but as you can see, actually I think you can see ATV trail here. But you just get on a four-wheeler ATV and go wherever you want to go. But I went to this church for a while. This is my neighbors, the acres. And this is my friend Karen's. And anyways, so my aunt and uncle, they live right up here somewhere. You can't really see their house. But anyways, so as you can see, a lot of mountains. I don't know how to make it turn. You can see the topography better, but so yeah, I spent a lot of time in the mountains and in the hills. So, um, but yeah, there's just, I mean, it says from 2019, but there's not really a lot of people there. Not nowadays. There's just no economy. But so this is a brief um, overview of where I come from. Now let's go to Borst Valley Wildlife Area, Trimpulla, Wisconsin. Alrighty. Borst Valley. So, well, let's get turned around here a little bit. Facing north. Zoom out a little bit. This is kind of, you need to look at DNR maps, and they probably work on Onyx and Go Hunt, but it lets you know where you can hunt, the public can hunt, and where you run into private property, and where you would need to ask permission because they kind of touch sometimes. Some people own private property, but they pay or don't have to pay certain taxes or get a tax break if they let the public hunt on it. So even though it's private, the public can still hunt on it because there's just so many farms, as you can see, and there's forested areas too, and it's just kind of all scattered. Over here's Augusta State Wildlife Area. I'm not too familiar with that, but a lot of places in hunt in Wisconsin. But this is one of the places I was looking at. Let's see here. I'll give you click on this little person icon and show you what roads. And they have those little vehicles that drive around with camera on it, a Google camera, so it lets you see areas. Let this load up to 100% down here in the left corner. Show you. So you just click on it, and it will zoom in and give you a ground picture. Zoom out a little bit. It's not necessarily the best picture, but 2019 apparently. So wasn't a mistake. It's a pretty nice area too. So let's get out of this. Go back to this. But yeah, so got a twist around here again. Back to 3D. So yeah, I was looking at going to this area, checking it out. It is public hunting land. Never been there before, but I don't think I'm going to be. I might be able to get a few days to go hunt out there a little bit. The only problem is I'm going into an environment that I haven't scouted, so probably just have to wherever I find deer tracks, I guess, and trails, because I need to probably still hunt, so I need to try to find someplace convenient. I have doe tags, so it doesn't have to be a buck, but I do want some venison. So anyways, like I mentioned before, you got this, let's go to Onyx. Onyx Hunt. Just look at this real quick. Says the #1 hunting app, but I don't know. Never used it. See, it seems comparable to like Google Earth, which they may draw the same information from Google Earth, But it allows you to have all these additional features, and it may come in handy once you learn how to use it. But it does pull up information. Independent trim fuel. Interesting. But it does allow you to, map it out, put you waypoints. If you're scouting a big area, and this is all over nationwide, public and private land boundaries, waypoints, optimal wind technology, stuff like that. Like I said before, they have different memberships with different features. Pricing, let's see. You got a one state premium, $30. The Elite allows all 50 states, so, Elite monthly, year, maybe you can pay monthly here. I don't know, but Elite membership, was I don't mind to pay for Elite membership, but I don't know that I need it. I don't know that I'd even use this. Google Earth, that kind of works a lot for me. But, given the complexity of Tiffany Bottoms, the waterways, might be beneficial or handy to have to navigate, all these little water areas and stuff, as it gets quite much like a maze. So, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do. So, might come in handy. So, we'll look at that later and look more into it. Hopefully soon we can actually get out here and start really exploring this place, scouting this place. I'm kind of sure if we can seal the cameras correctly, if they're cellular cameras, we should be able to hide it. To no one will tamper with it. I don't believe in littering and stuff. I don't like to litter, so I don't really like to leave stuff behind. I like a clean environment to go back to, so I try to do my part. But it does seem to be a pretty clean area. Some places in this country, people just leave their garbage and trash, and it's not really respectful, in my opinion. But some people don't care. But I don't really like it when people do that. So, anyways, so this is one of the areas. There's other places like, how you spell it, Navarino. Yep, Navarino, Wisconsin. If I'm not mistaken, if it's taking me to the correct place. Might be. Yep, Navarino State Wildlife Area. This area is in, I believe, Shawano County, or Wapaka. Anyways, this is a very large public wildlife area that people can go to. Here's the Department of Natural Resources. So, if you need any information from the DNR, there's a facility right here. And if you go to this place, you've never been there, and you want to know more about it, to hunt it, they maybe they'll offer you maps or resources to get what you need. But haven't been there. Kind of one of the other places I want to look and check out. Like I said, there is a lot of places to go. There's also Meade. wildlife area. Okay. It says dog training, but um, I think George Meade State Wildlife Area. So this is another very large place. This is actually quite much larger than Tiffany Bottoms. It's like 30,000 acres. So if you don't want to deal with a lot of waterways and stuff, this might be. And it's not as rugged of terrain. It might be somewhat marshy in areas. But you know, it might be a place that a person might take interest in exploring, trying out. It's got surrounding areas. There's also, this is, I don't know what county this is in. I'd have to double check. But there's also Black River. Black River wildlife areas. It's in Jackson State Forest. Let's see, Jackson County, Wisconsin. As you can see, it's a very, very large area. So there's plenty of territory here to hunt. But let's see, Sherwood. Okay. So this is a very, very large area. I don't know the full scale of this one, but and you'd probably want to double check to see about hunting this. You may have issues with wolves here. I really don't know, but it's a lot of wilderness area. I mean, I'm very zoomed out very far, but definitely, well, in areas where you have wolves, you don't tend to have too many coyotes. Their competition wolves will kill off coyotes, but yeah, there's probably wolves in this area. Maybe in certain sections more so than others, but there's probably definitely wolves in here, in this one. But as you can see, it's a very, very large area to hunt. Not as much hunting pressure. You could have a lot of privacy. I don't know what kind of... If this is Marathon County has quite a bit of deer, if I'm not mistaken. Shawano County does too. But it would make sense. They got a lot of territory here. So I don't know about the size of the deer here. I know most deer in Wisconsin are just big in general, but as far as like having the edge, massive racks and stuff, I don't know. You can kill large bucks pretty much everywhere in Wisconsin, as long as you know how to do it and you wait for them and you try to find them, and you gotta put the work into it sometimes. But I've seen kids kill state records. It just happens that way. But anyways, hard work does pay off though. But this is one of the other areas. I know I've been rambling on, but so Lord willing, we'll get to see some of these places. I'd like to go here just a little bit, explore a little bit, maybe just take a road trip type thing with this. A little bit of scouting like that, but it's a very, very large area. But that's just me. I'm into the woods. I'm into being in places like that. There's a little bit of mountains there, it looks like, or hills. But they're popping out a little bit where you zoom in. But looks like a very nice place. I wouldn't be surprised there's cougars in here. But anyways, so I'm gonna conclude this episode. just want to make another video, a little bit of e-scouting here with Google Earth. It's a free tool you can use, as opposed to Onyx or Go Hunt, where you have to actually pay for it. So I hope this helps a little bit. You know, it is a cheap alternative to using those. It don't have all the features, obviously, but it give you a general idea of some of the places you may want to look at that you've never been or something like that. And it's free. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on a computer. Usually the apps are their computer. Excuse me. Their computer version of like Google Earth or even Go Hunt or Onyx is better than the app versions. That's just the way it is with most computer software. Computer software, usually their websites and all kinds of stuff is just better on a computer than on a phone. Phone's just very convenient. So this concludes this episode of On the Ground. We'll look into more things later. Like I said, I have free time, so I'm just making some videos. If you like these videos, you like this channel, if you want to see more, just subscribe. Make some comments, post some comments if you have anything to say or any questions. This image is from 2013. It's kind of old. But we'll see you next time here on the Ground.